I'm a moron. I just spent 30 minutes talking to the camera with no memory card in it. So if my voice sounds hoarse, it's because I've already done this video once before and my throat is sore. Everything's fine. We're just gonna do it again because this is a fun video, even if I have to do it twice. I have notes and a pencil because I couldn't find a pen. This pencil is from the Ace Hotel. I don't remember them giving me a pencil. On my most recent YouTube video, my friend Christine made a comment, who you might know because she has a very popular YouTube channel. She left a comment saying, please do a video on the equipment you use to film and shoot audio. The quality is so good. I feel like a lot of people, myself included, would learn so much. And because Christine's one of my BFFs and because she is probably right, it would probably be helpful to share some of this knowledge. I decided to make this video. Little disclaimer, all the stuff I'm going to tell you about in this video, it's just what works for me. I keep things pretty simple, but I also, use a professional camera and obviously this massive boom arm for some reason. But this stuff is not necessary in order to make a YouTube channel or to make videos. This is just stuff that I found makes it easier for me and gets me the results I like. That being said, this is my YouTube video and audio setup video. No wonder I was so parched. I forgot a drink. No Heath mug tonight because it's 6 at night. I'm gonna drink a strawberry Spindrift because they're very good. Okay, this may seem a little bit out of order, but the first thing, the most important thing when making a video, and arguably like the only thing you really need, is good light. If you don't have good light, you're not going to make a very compelling video or image. So starting from there is kind of the most important thing. For me, what I find looks the best and kind of works the best and easiest is trying to approximate window light. And I do have windows. I have a window behind the camera. There's a window back in there's two windows back in the kitchen. I usually have this door open, but it's night, so it's just a big black hole in there. And I have a window over there, but all the light from those windows kind of diffuses and bounces around the room. So what I like to do is I'll have that window behind the camera open, and then right here I have a big Nikkor 5-in-1 diffusion reflector thingy dingy with all the reflector stuff taken off, and it's just like a big diffusion panel. And then behind it I have a Dracast LED panel, which apparently was expensive when they came out, but mine's pretty crappy. It's like broken. Like the intensity knob is like either chooses like half power or nothing, so I have to like tape the knob on so it's at full power. I really should replace it, but it still works, so I'm just gonna deal with it for now. But that provides some really good light on this side, so that's my key light. It has some good shape on this side of the face, and it lets this face be a little darker. But right now I have this little guy. It's just a little can light I got from like Home Depot or something with a tungsten bulb in it. I've got that bouncing off this wall here just for a little bit of fill. And that's kind of it for lighting. The only other thing is I have some like cafe lights that are going around my door right here. And that's just like a little motivation of interest back there. I don't know if anyone really cares about it. I think it looks okay, but yeah, I try to keep it simple. I have the diffusion hanging on a C-stand by Matthews, and then I have my light on just I think it's an impact light stand telescoping thing. Both were pretty inexpensive. The C-stands are kind of expensive. It's like $150 a pop, but those light stands are like less than $50 each. They work fine. It's hard to get excited about grip equipment, but works fine. Okay, arguably what people would think be the most important thing, but is actually least important, is the camera. And I say that because everybody has a phone, and everybody's phone, like this phone here, this iPhone, makes really good video now. If you have anything that's 3 years old or newer, you can make high definition, really nice videos for YouTube and that's all you need. In fact, recently I've been experimenting with just using my iPhone 12 and some moment lenses that you can get to make video content for YouTube. I haven't uploaded anything yet, but I'm working on experimenting with it, but I'm kind of floored with how good the video quality is on phones now. But for the most part, everything I have is filmed on the Fuji XT-3, which is currently what's filming this. I chose that camera simply because it has all the features you could possibly need to make good high definition Ultra HD video. It does 4K, it does slow motion, it does 10-bit output, it's 420 internally, it's 422 externally. It looks really good. It's very easy to manipulate in post. I can shoot in one of the film profiles like Eterna and then not have to do any post-processing whatsoever, or I can shoot in log, which is what I'm doing now. And then later I'll use Premiere Pro and Film Convert Nitrate, which is a Premiere Pro plugin, and I'll just put a film emulation on top of it to make it look like cinema film, tweak it to make sure the settings look good, and then I'm done. It's really as simple as that. That simplicity, ease of use, and streamlined workflow is really why you would choose a hybrid camera like the Fuji X-T3 or any of the other Fuji cameras or any other myriad of digital mirrorless cameras like the Sonys or Canons. It's just really, really simple and easy to go from filming to post to uploading because the cameras all look really great. You can't really go wrong. You can pretty much choose any camera these days and you're going to get good video out of it. The lens that I use 90% of the time to make video is my Nikon 24mm f2.8. It's a prime lens. I use that lens because the character of the glass on vintage lenses is just so much better, in my opinion, to modern autofocus digital camera glass. Those lenses can be really incredible. They're super sharp, but I feel like when making video, sharpness is like my least concern. What I want is character. I want it to look nice. What I'm shooting with right now is my Nikon 28mm f3.5 because I wanted a smaller, I didn't want it to be as wide, just bring it a little bit tighter. And I think this lens looks great too. Both are manual focus, but I'm not vlogging or running around and needing to like focus on things. So they work perfectly for my purposes. If I need autofocus, I have my Fuji lenses, which work really great. But if I have a choice, vintage lenses are what I'm gonna go for every time. They're cheaper and I think they look better, and I think it's easier to achieve the look I want in post using vintage lenses. The other lens that I use maybe like 5% of the time is a micro Nikkor 55mm f2.8, which is a macro lens. It's a beautiful, beautiful portrait lens, but it's also really great for shooting B-roll and getting things really up close. I use that lens a lot. And it's really, really fantastic. Also super cheap. All my lenses are really cheap because they're vintage manual focus lenses. And I think that people put a lot of emphasis on needing autofocus. And for some purposes, yeah, autofocus is really helpful. But for me, for what I do, I don't really need autofocus all that often. So cheap manual focus vintage lenses are exactly what the doctor ordered. What? On my lenses, almost 100% of the time, I'm using Moment's variable NDs. A little bit of a disclosure, I am on the Moment Pro team, which means that they send me gear. However, they are not paying me to say anything about that gear, and I also am not being sponsored by them. So I am not biased other than they give me free stuff, which is cool. However, I will say that I really, really, really do love their ND filters. I think they really got them right. They have hard stops. They are really, really easy to use. If you want to learn more about the Moment ND filters, I made a really in-depth video about them a couple months ago. Just click up here. Atomos Shinobi 5-inch monitor. I just use that to see myself. I'm looking at myself right now. It has a lot of exposure tools. So if I need to know that my skin is perfectly exposed, the background's exposed properly, I'm exposed properly, I use false color every single time I shoot a video to make sure that the scene is perfectly exposed, and that's really, really helpful. The monitor also has peaking, so if I want to make sure I'm perfectly in focus, I go up to the camera and I boop, 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 just change the focus, and I can see exactly where the focus falls. I usually focus right around here. So I'm perfectly in focus. The background's nice and blurred. The foreground's nice and blurred, and everything looks nice. Okay, as far as audio, I have, as you can see, a microphone attached to this monstrously big boom arm. The microphone is an Audix OM2. I bought this microphone, I think, from my first job at a music store in Fremont. I think I bought it for like 40% off or something. The reason I bought this specific microphone is because Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie uses this microphone, and back then I guess that was all the endorsement I needed. So this is a dynamic microphone, which is really common for musicians who are singing on stage, also for instruments. Some people who do broadcast and podcasts and YouTube will use those bigger condenser mics, which are microphones that require phantom power. Those microphones are a lot more sensitive, and some people really like the way that they complement their voice. However, this one is way cheaper than most condenser microphones, and I just feel that it works perfectly for my purposes. It's compact. I can handhold it, or I can stick it in a mic clip or on a mic stand or whatever, and it works totally fine. So I have this microphone plugged off camera into my Zoom H1N, which is my field recorder. It's very inexpensive and very easy to use. I've had it for like 3 years. I bought it on Amazon for less than $100 and it works great. It's not the most full featured or highest quality recorder ever, but for what I use it for, it's totally fine. It works on 2 AAA batteries. You can stick it in your pocket and it's easy to travel with. It's also got 2 built-in stereo microphones and an XY setup. So if I want to record stuff without a microphone plugged into it, I can do that as well. And it takes micro SD cards, which are cheap and readily available. So that's what I use for my audio. You'll also notice I have this massive boom arm coming from off screen. I just got this. It was recommended to me by another YouTuber. It was very cheap and it seems very sturdy, but it's also big. Does it look weird? I don't know. I think it kind of looks weird on the monitor, but if you guys don't think it's too bad, then I guess it's all right. I'm thinking about just getting like a tabletop microphone stand, but I mean, this works. I just don't know if I like the way it looks on camera yet, but yeah, you can get these cheap. This was like $40 or something on Amazon, and it works great. So yeah, I don't have to hold it in my hands anymore. Isn't it amazing? I still don't have a mic clip though, because this didn't come with a mic clip and I didn't have one handy. I thought I had one somewhere, but after moving and stuff, I have no idea where all that stuff is. So I have this Manfrotto super clamp still holding the microphone, but you know what? It works really good. It's a really expensive mic clip, but it works. So, okay. Also, I have, you'll notice in different videos, I'll have different colored little mic poof things. And this is just a windscreen to keep wind off the capsule so it doesn't get those popping and whooshing sounds that are really annoying. It was super cheap. I got like a pack of like 20 of them on Amazon. I think this bag full of microphone windscreens was like $10 on Amazon, and I get all sorts of different colors. So that's pretty cool. Really cheap. So the last but not least, probably the most important thing for making video, at least for me, I use it every single time I make a video. That is the X-Rite Colorchecker video. X-Rite makes a bunch of different kinds of these. This is just the bigger video version. It just makes a larger target for when you're editing video. And what this does is allows you to use their software to balance all the colors in your video to make sure that they're true to life, which is really, really handy if you are doing any kind of color grading. You're going to want to make sure your colors are accurate. And then this backside here is just a white balance target. So I can put this in the scene here, and then in post I could click right there with my dropper tool, and this will be perfectly white balanced. So this is a really powerful tool that everyone making videos on YouTube should have. This specific one is like $150. They're not cheap, but they're indispensable in making sure your videos look professional. That's pretty much it. The only other thing is I take my video and audio files when I'm done, stick them in my computer. Everything goes into Premiere Pro. I edit my audio in Premiere Pro 2. I just put a compressor, hard limiter, and a noise reducer on my audio to make sure that it sounds good for broadcast and that it's limiting the output so it's not clipping anything and sounding like garbage, and that it's taking out any noise or any extra sounds or like buzzing or stuff. So that's kind of all I do, all in Premiere Pro. And then same with the video, all of that stuff goes into Premiere Pro. I use Film Convert Nitrate to make it look good, and then edit for content, and then it goes up on YouTube. That is it. That was a lot. Talked for a long time. If you have any more questions about my rig, about specific parts, why I chose certain things, or if you have questions about my workflow or whatever, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll answer your questions the best I can. If you're really curious about how to make videos on a budget, or what it takes to make videos for YouTube using a hybrid or DSLR camera, or if you just want to get into making video, you should check out DSLR Video Shooter. Caleb is a incredibly talented videographer who spends his time making videos, teaching people how to use cameras to make really good video for YouTube or whatever else you want to do. Go check that out. That's going to help you a lot. I learned a ton from that channel. That's how I kind of got to this place that I'm at now. I've used a lot of his advice. So check out DSLR Video Shooter on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Christine, I hope this helped you a lot. I could have just told you all this in person, but I guess this is better that everybody else gets to benefit from this knowledge. I hope everyone who watched this learned something. And I really appreciate you guys supporting my channel. We just hit 7K recently, and I'm very, very excited about that. I can't wait till we hit 10K. Fingers crossed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.